Our top story this hour: Melbourne's circuit breaker COVID lockdown has been lifted as health authorities investigate the source of 4 new local cases. Stay-at-home orders were removed at 11:59 last night, bringing reprieve to residents after 2 weeks. The latest infections include a man in his 80s, a woman in her 70s, a man in his 50s and another man in his 20s who all lived in the same household. Contact tracers are trying to figure out how they caught the virus after the elderly man became the first to return a positive test result last Wednesday. The new mystery cluster in the city's north has spooked authorities, prompting them to leave some strict measures in place.
We've always said that when we could ease restrictions based on that advice, we would. We also said yesterday, and we've been saying every single day, this is not over yet, and the risks of this virus will be a factor in our lives in the long term and in the short term. So in the short, that means we are moving ahead, but we are on high alert.
Under the new rules, residents will be confined to travelling within 25 kilometres of their homes. At-home gatherings have been banned, while public outdoor gatherings are restricted to 10 people. Cafes and restaurants will be capped at 50 customers. Gyms to remain closed. There will be density limits in offices and masks will be mandatory both indoors and outdoors. Students will be able to return to the classroom from today though. Religious gatherings capped at 50 people, and the same limit applies to funerals. Weddings are allowed to go ahead, but only 10 people can attend, including the married couple.
After Melbourne's fortnight in its 4th lockdown, residents will again be given a taste of freedom. But a number of restrictions remain in place, with a late decision to retain compulsory face masks outdoors, amid authorities' concern over how 4 new coronavirus cases contracted the virus.
4 people from the same household. Public health teams are still investigating an acquisition source for these cases.
The family, 3 men and 1 woman aged between 20 and 80, live in Reservoir, north of Melbourne. One checked in near an exposure site on May 23, but a concrete connection is yet to be established.
Anyone who's been to the Craigieburn Central Shopping Centre who has any symptoms should get tested.
None of Victoria's current COVID cases acquire the virus outdoors, but the government say its tough mask mandate is necessary.
Transmissions certainly have occurred outdoor. They're not very common, but they do occur, and we're, at this stage, when there are active cases in the community, I think it's a small thing to ask for the community to continue to wear masks at all times when they're out of the home.
Lockdown is lifting, but the path to normality remains uncertain for many businesses, which will have to remain closed under the current restrictions. And now there's even less financial support available.
I've made the decision that the hotspot that designation should be removed at midnight tonight, the same as the Victorian lockdown changes. And that will mean an end to that COVID disaster payment.
Affected businesses will be able to access an extra $2,000 in state support, but affected workers will now be without the federal emergency disaster payment. Julia Bradley, Sky News, Melbourne.